Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the most famous and controversial psychological experiments in history, the Stanford Prison Experiment. Conducted in 1971, this study aimed to examine how social roles and power dynamics influence personal behavior. However, things spiraled out of control in a shocking way, and the experiment, which was supposed to last 2 weeks, was terminated after only 6 days. What happened during those 6 days? The goal of the experiment was to understand human behavior in controlled environments, but it also raised significant ethical concerns. Today, we're going to explore what took place in the experiment, how participants' behaviors changed, and the psychological lessons we can learn from this groundbreaking study. In the beginning, everything went according to plan. The guards set the rules, and the prisoners followed them. However, after just a few hours, the guards began to abuse their power. They started using harsh punishments and psychological tactics to control the prisoners. The prisoners, in turn, began to resist, but their protests were swiftly crushed. On the second day, the guards grew more aggressive, using humiliation as a tool to maintain control. They forced the prisoners to perform degrading tasks, such as cleaning toilets with their bare hands, and subjected them to verbal abuse. Some of the guards even created divide-and-conquer strategies to prevent the prisoners from bonding together and resisting. The prisoners, initially defiant, soon began to lose their sense of individuality and began to suffer emotionally. One prisoner experienced a severe emotional breakdown, screaming and crying uncontrollably. His distress was ignored by the guards, who continued their harsh treatment. By the fourth day, the situation had deteriorated further. The guards, empowered by their authority, began to use physical force and psychological abuse, while the prisoners grew increasingly submissive. One of the prisoners attempted to leave the experiment, but Zimbardo and his team, despite seeing the signs of severe distress, allowed the experiment to continue. The psychological pressure was immense, and the emotional toll on the prisoners became apparent. Several of them showed signs of deep psychological trauma. Realizing how dangerous the situation had become, Zimbardo decided to end the experiment after only 6 days, even though it was originally planned to run for 2 weeks. The results of the Stanford Prison Experiment shocked both the researchers and the public. It revealed how easily people can change their behavior when placed in positions of power, and how quickly individuals can become victims when deprived of control. The key takeaway from the experiment is summarized by Zimbardo himself. The situation can induce people to do things they never thought they were capable of. This statement underlines the powerful influence of external factors, like authority and social roles, on human behavior. It demonstrated that ordinary people, when given authority, could easily turn cruel and abusive. The experiment showed that people's behavior is not simply based on their inherent personality traits, but is heavily influenced by the social roles they are assigned and the power structures they are placed in. The guards, who started out as regular college students, quickly became sadistic when given power, while the prisoners, though once independent individuals, soon became passive and submissive. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a striking demonstration of how powerful social roles and authority can influence behavior. It showed how easily ordinary people can become perpetrators of cruelty when placed in positions of power, and how quickly individuals can lose their sense of self when deprived of autonomy. It also raised significant ethical questions about the responsibility of researchers to protect their subjects and the limits of psychological experiments. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If you had been part of this experiment, how do you think you would have behaved? Would you have conformed to the role of guard or resisted the power dynamics at play? What do you think about the ethics of experiments like this one? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about psychological experiments and human behavior, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.